Hello guys, and welcome back to another video where I talk about my life and rant about random stuff, my 9 to 5, my business ideas, and so on. Today I will tell you guys about how I first ever compared what I make as income with a foreign income, or like how I figured out that my income is the biggest scam here, and how I actually was stunned that we make literally minimum wage compared to European countries. I will not declare explicitly my country, but today I will tell you how, like, when I first time ever figured out that I make a very, very low income compared to euro, which I understand some of you will think, yeah, euro is a very high, is a very expensive currency. It's a very profitable currency when you calculate it compared to other currencies. Yeah, well, it's just that is the reference to me, because I think that's my opinion, of course. European people will, if you have a decent, good job, and or you have a business in Europe, you could at least live a comfortable life. Not the best life, not the perfect life, but at least a comfortable life. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you will be living like extravagant life, but Euro usually gives you good life. Okay. Now I understand with inflation and all things change. Absolutely. I'm not saying that it's a perfect situation. I'm not saying that the euro is the perfect currency. I'm just setting it as a reference because I prefer to set it as a reference, and it's a very easy currency that I can easily refer to or go back as a reference space. So this story dates back to, I think, the beginning of 2026 as a year. So it dates back way in the beginning to the beginning of winter of this year. And I actually discovered that I'm actually doing much more efforts and getting paid really, really below the effort that I'm putting into my work. So I was actually, I always knew that we make a very, very minimum wage. We don't make that much of an income, especially when you like try to compare to the same profession that you're doing here. And when you take the profession that you're doing here and you compare it to the other professions from the same field in, or like the same exact title, job or job title, excuse me, in Europe, I understand that it's different because of currency, but that's how like you at least get an image on how like good things are supposed to be going. So when I figured out this, you can't imagine the amount of like disappointment and the amount of like crazy feelings I've had for an entire fucking week. I have never in my life imagined that this kind of realization would lead me to having a little breakdown during the entire fucking week. That was actually crazy coming from someone who is very, very conscious of the big currency gap, big wage gap, and honestly, it's not a bad thing, but it was very terrible. It wasn't. Now that I look back at it, it wasn't a bad thing, but back then when I was in the moment, I felt so down. I felt so down. I just went and texted my friend and I was like, guess how much we fucking make, bro. Guess how much how much low wage we actually make compared to a European that works the exact profession in the exact field, and not even with 1 year experience. So I was in the bus. I woke up this morning. It was a very, well, not this morning, but back then. It was a very normal day. I woke up, prepared myself. Didn't have my coffee because usually I have my coffee at the office. I headed out, and back then I was in my grandma's house, so it was closer to take one bus and come back here, work in the office. On my way and inside the bus, I was just having a normal random day when I pulled my phone. I immediately thought first, before pulling my phone, I thought, I'm really curious how much we make. Like if I convert my current wage into European currency, I wonder how much I make. Okay? So that's when I pull my phone, grab the calculator app, and started literally entering the numbers. I entered the number, calculated how I calculated it. Now, don't ask me a lot of questions. Again, I don't want to give off where I live. And I figured out we don't even make 200 euros. Okay? We don't even get to even like above 150 euros. We don't even make like 150 euros. That's the funny story. When I calculated my wage with European currency, I was like, when I saw the 150, 150, like imagine 150 bucks, not even bucks, sorry. I'm so used to the dollar. When I saw 150, literally 150 euros per month, I thought, what the like, this is something that someone can make in an hour, like in Europe. Like a freelancer can make it in 1 hour in Europe. Can you imagine that? Like a cleaner can make it in like half a day in Europe. Like, I mean, I don't mean to disgrace or I don't mean to make anyone feel uncomfortable or like I don't mean to, say that people that clean are worthless. I'm just saying that, bro, like if you clean the floors and you make 150, that's amazing. Like I'd be mopping the entire floors like for the rest of my life at this point, where it's just an exaggeration at this point, but it's just an example of like how I was stunned at that moment. So back then, the moment I saw that number, I can't tell you exactly the exact feelings I had, but I remember walking all the way from the bus station to my work feeling absolutely devastated, absolutely destroyed mentally, absolutely not motivated to work. I felt like every step I took was a very heavy step. It was a very heavy step, very hard step. Every step I took was like, whoa, wow. I'm literally waking up every morning 6 a.m. Going out at like 6:55 a.m. just to get to work at 7:30ish something, just to get to my desk and just like do all the work. Go out at 5 p.m., get yelled at by the fucking boss just to get 150. I was so devastated. Whilst the exact same person in my position with my job in approximately the same firm as me in Europe with no diploma, by the way, like without finishing their studies, like only accomplishing their first year of master degree, not even the second year. If they work, they get 400 euros. Can you imagine, like 400 euros? And it could go up to 1,500 euros. Like, I will try to put both numbers, both wages in dollars, so like you get the idea. But like, it's crazy. It's just crazy because I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain how like it hurts thinking I wake up like very early and I get home very late, exhausted, and like back then I didn't know how to control my time. Back then I didn't know how to organize my time. I was still experimenting with my time and how to manipulate it, how to like get home and work on a business idea. I was still in that process of like discovering how like professional world and privacy, I mean not privacy, the private life works. And like back then, like when I was getting home exhausted because I was giving like 100% at work. Again, it was my first time working, like my first weeks, my first months. I was like giving my 100% like nonstop. So getting home exhausted, and with that realization at that moment, like the entire day went so hard because I kept that idea in the back of my mind while holding the computer and like working and looking at the screen and like typing and calculating and doing all these work stuff. while doing each one, I was like very confused. Like that thought was in the back of my mind that I couldn't just like focus and let it go. It I kept talking about it in my like literally I kept texting my friends, telling them like, wow, we make below minimum wage if we compare it to European standards. I mean currency and European wage. Like that's crazy. That's beyond crazy actually. That's like devastating to the human soul. But I guess that day I was mainly so fucking invested in that thought, invested in the idea of like, wow, 9 to 5 is crazy, and getting paid less, way less than what a European is getting paid. Again, it's because my personal reference. You don't have to put it as a reference. It's just my personal preferred reference, like comparing it to European currency. Again, that was like crazy. That was like crazy. And keep in mind that I never really entertained the idea of working a 9 to 5 forever. I've always had this thought, even before graduating, way before graduating, when I was still in college studying, I was always thinking, yeah, if I get a 9 to 5, and when I graduate and get a 9 to 5, I should be able to literally like build a business at the same time. Like, you know, the idea of like working a 9 to 5 to fund your 5 to 9, you know, kind of idea, and then quitting your 9 to 5, not 5 to 9. Basically, the idea is like maintaining your job until you grow a business and it becomes independent, and then you can quit your job and depend fully on the business. It's not as easy as it seems. I assure you, it is not as easy as it seems. As for now, as I'm recording, I'm still working on a business idea. And trust me, it took me like months, and I'm still working on it. I'm not here to brag. I'm just telling you that we're all in a shitty position. We're all in this together. If you're there listening and you're in the same position that I was in, honestly, hang on, because it's not going to be easy. Nobody's going to give you a pat on the back, especially in 9 to 5. Your company probably doesn't give a shit about you. But the good thing is, you can make things work for your own good. You can choose to make things work for your own good. You can steer the ship on your own way. Like don't just let the wind steer your ship. You should steer your ship to go your own way. Okay? And mind you, when I went back home that day, at the end of that day, I was like, I kept just having this idea. And like I went to my parents and told them about this, and they were like, of course, like it's I mean, it's Europe, of course. It's a big economy name. But you know, to my little brain, to my little 23-year-old freshly started working, you know, like a 9 to 5, and just graduated from college, and like tasted like the torture of like a 9 to 5 and like sweaty money and all. It was just a lot to handle. Like it just encouraged me to push further and like make the idea and the belief that I already had stronger. The belief that I should, at any cost, make my business work, or like even if I fail that business one, I should keep on trying, because there is zero ways I'm staying in a 9 to 5 so I could scale up in a company after like 5 years, and to scale up with about 10 euros or something. But like not even like you can't just so you get an idea, you don't jump from 150 euros to like 200 300 euros, okay? You don't jump from like 150 to 1,000. It doesn't work that way. It takes you about like 23 years or more to even like probably get 500. And it doesn't take only effort. You know, sometimes effort is not even considered. It takes knowing the right people in the right time, knowing how to trick, knowing how to show off as someone who works, but be like, you know, like it's an art. It's an entire art behind all these office work, working like hours. So this was the story. It probably doesn't mean a lot to you guys, but I'm still gonna thank you for listening to this story. It's just something that marked me and that I wanted to tell. It's not really something big. It's not like a big event but this moment, the moment when I grabbed the phone and like grabbed the calculator and I got stunned with the number. Wow. Like the biggest shock of my life. I'm not gonna lie to you, this was probably the first time ever moment that I get so stunned that I thought, yeah, I can't even like spend 5 years working. Like at first I thought, yeah, it's okay. 5 years is max. Now it's like 2 years is max. Probably 2 years and a half. Like in worst case scenarios. I'm sure this is just being delusional. I'm sure I'm gonna end up working probably so many years until my business or like any business idea that I invest in ends up working out. But just to sum up the thing and to give you an idea about what I felt back then, I just was beyond stunned. Like I can't even find the right words to explain to you how much that number just pushed my reflection to literally far away as possible. Like to plan it 20 years ahead of time, you know? I don't know if things are making sense, but yeah, this is it. Anyways, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. I appreciate everyone that hits the like. If you want to hear more weird stories and watch me play and lose on Valorant, you could go ahead and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And why not? If you guys want to know what's my business idea I'm working on right now, just let me know. It would be so nice.